2, 1, go.
All right, good evening. I'm 5 News Chief Meteorologist Matt Standridge. Got Michelle Trotter with me as well this evening. We're tracking strong thunderstorms moving in from eastern Oklahoma, pressing across the state line right now. Specifically, we have one severe thunderstorm warning at the moment, but it has shown some signs of rotation. Towards our west, we have that cold front with some cooler, drier air. That's going to be coming in later this evening. Along it, we have these individual cells. Northwest Arkansas, things have really petered out for us. We had a cell near Bentonville that has kind of dissipated. We have some cells north into Missouri. West side of Fayetteville, also another cell. This is very close to Lake Weddington. Just came through Siloam Springs. The one severe storm that we have at the moment is in southern portions of Adair County and northern Sequoia County and even southeastern Cherokee County. So let's go ahead and zoom in a little bit closer to this thunderstorm. It's got a good amount of lightning with it as well, just near Greasy. This is going to be crossing 59 here very shortly. You got some heavy rain just south of Stillwell, but actually there's a little bit of rotation right now. You see that purple? That shows you rotation or shear in the atmosphere. We're watching the wind starting to spin. This is now leaving Cherokee County and moving into southern portions of Adair County. Once again, we don't have a tornado warning at the moment, but there is some good rotation. So this is a thunderstorm that we're watching and the National Weather Service is watching as well. Once again, if you're just joining us on the web or on Facebook, on YouTube, and on our 5 News app, we're going to continue to watch these thunderstorms all evening long. Right now, we just have one severe thunderstorm warning. One of the big reasons why is we have some hail potentially with this thunderstorm too. But right now, here's that rotation. You can see the blue. That's actually Lake Tenkiller, just south of Tahlequah. Just moved through Chicken Creek, and this is headed eastbound now into Adair County. So Lake Tenkiller, we're good now. We're still getting some rain and some thunder, but now the rotation part of this thunderstorm, the rotating part, is headed eastbound. This is probably going to move just south of Cherry Tree. You see where the reds and the greens are meeting? That's where we're watching this rotation at the moment. Watching with the National Weather Service too. We have no severe reports at the moment, but this is moving into southern portions of Adair County. This will probably be skimming parts of Sequoia County too. But when we time this storm out, especially the rotation on this storm, and next to the rotation, we do have some pockets of hail, especially on the north side of the rotation. But this storm is moving about 30 miles per hour towards the south and east. See the timings here. Uniontown, 7:44, so that's probably when we're crossing the state line. So Uniontown, 7:44, just after 8 o'clock in Van Buren. Right now, Michelle, do you know where we're looking live?
Area agency.
Okay, so you're looking from Fort Smith. So here's Fort Smith. And you're looking towards the north and west, towards this strong thunderstorm. Of course, we just had sunset, so we've got kind of that eerie glow right now. But this storm is moving south and east at 30 miles per hour. Eventually, we could get close to Van Buren. That would be close to 8 o'clock, Alma, 8:12. So this is the strongest thunderstorm that we have at the moment. When we zoom back out, Michelle, we're still watching these thunderstorms as they press on towards the east at the moment. I think we just got a flash of lightning too. But these are moving eastbound. Do you see anything from the National Weather Service at the moment?
Not really right now. They're just saying that updraft that you're seeing in that severe thunderstorm warning is just basically weakening right now, but they continue to monitor it as it's moving through parts of Sequoia County. But other than that, though, again, like Matt was saying, that's the only storm we're watching right now. That cold front is just to the west of that severe thunderstorm warning, so I think after that passes, we'll be done, but still more hours, a few more hours of that severe thunderstorm with that.
Yeah, what's nice for us is that usually we get these strong, severe storms, tornadic storms sometimes way in the middle of the night. The good news is that we're getting them now. Of course, there's still things going on a Sunday evening. But we can see still some of these storms. You're looking at the top right. We're going to keep a live view on some of our cameras just across northwest Arkansas and the River Valley as we watch these thunderstorms press in from the east. Right now, we're showing you where that tornado watch is. That tornado watch, everywhere you see the yellow color, that includes northwest Arkansas and includes everyone in the River Valley. This orange box shows you the severe thunderstorm warning that we have at the moment. That includes extreme northeastern Sequoia County. So once again, that does not include Sallisaw, Vian, Webbers Falls. This is north of you guys, north of the interstate. And then southern portions of Adair County and extreme southeastern Cherokee County. This storm has just passed through Lake Tenkiller, but we're watching right now on the top left. That's once again from downtown Fort Smith. And we're looking towards the north and the west. You're going to see some lightning as the storm presses south and east. At the moment, we could get skimmed with the heavy rain and maybe some lightning in Fort Smith. But I think this is more an event for Van Buren. So just on the other side of the river headed north, Van Buren, Cedarville, Uniontown. This is going to be passing very close to Natural Dam. A beautiful location this time of year with some of the fall leaves. So we have one severe thunderstorm warning at the moment as it presses south and east. This is another look at the radar. A lot of lightning too, as this presses right into the northeastern portions of Sequoia County. So Greasy, you're headed right along 59. Michelle, this is where we're kind of noticing. You see that notch right there? That's one thing we're noticing at the moment.
That kind of indicates trying to form a hook echo. I'm trying to look at the rotation right now on the radar scope, but the rotation seems pretty broad, like you were saying. But I think in that storm, as it moves to the southeast, it could also produce some damaging winds up to 65 miles per hour as it moves through. But look at that rotation you saw on that. It is pretty broad, but it's there, and that's why we're continuing monitoring this system.
Yeah, so specifically when you get into technicalities of the National Weather Service, they've issued a severe thunderstorm warning, but they can add tags, especially if there's considerable threats. So severe thunderstorm warning basically means you've got gusty winds over about 60 miles per hour, and you can have hail up to an inch or more. But they can also add tags to kind of further detail what's going on. And one of the things is, since there is some substantial rotation with this, not enough for a tornado warning, they added what's called a tornado possible tag. What that means, because a lot of us get alerts on your phone, right? And so you saw tornado possible. What does that mean? It means you have a severe thunderstorm warning, possibly with hail, but at the moment there is rotation. So we're watching this closely. Like Michelle said, sometimes it's been weakening a little bit and then strengthening up once again, and it's just west of Greasy, just west of Cherry Tree, but this is headed east and then just south of due east. So this is very close to the county line between Sequoia County and southern Adair County. But here's where that rotation is. You have the green color showing you winds that are actually moving from the northwest right now, and the red shows you winds that are moving in from the southeast. So this is where we get our rotation that's just west of 59. But once again, this is moving southeast. The latest track right now and the timings, Michelle, what do you see?
So right now it'd be in Van Buren. Probably it's 7:10 right now, so in 50 minutes or so. Bellefonte, did I say that right, Matt?
Yes.
In 7:35, so 25 minutes from there. And just now from the National Weather Service, they are saying that circulation, so that rotation and that storm has pretty much strengthened as it moves into Adair County. So something to watch out for again. But you can see that rotation that Matt's showing right there. It's still moving across Greasy, so it's heading that way. This severe thunderstorm warning goes until about 7:45. And so again, that tornado threat is possible with that, and that's why they put that little tag that Matt was talking about on that storm as it moves through. But again, some gusty winds, damaging winds are definitely possible with that storm.
Yeah, it's very close to Messer. You guys know in southern portions of Adair County, you've got Greasy Creek, that's just west of town. And then once you head towards Flute Springs, we're also in the threat of this thunderstorm. On top of that, we still have some hail threats as well. Let me go ahead and show you what we're talking about with this particular storm. This is just showing you some of the hail that we've had so far this afternoon. You can see these kind of bright white colors and the blue color. But blue color basically shows you that we're getting up to about an inch size hail or greater. And over time, this has been moving eastbound. So we've had some hail drop right along Oklahoma 100. 82, Route 82 as well, and then just headed eastbound into southern Adair County. We're watching some of these hail threats too. So that hail is just near Greasy too. That's where we have the rotation as well, just southwestern portions of Adair County. So far, everything has been north of Sequoia County, but this storm continues to move east at the moment. I believe we got just an update from the National Weather Service with the reissuing of the warning. I think they canceled it for parts of Cherokee County. But anyway, still southern portions, Adair County, severe thunderstorm warning, and northeastern Sequoia County. There's that rotation. Also, we have the lightning as well. That's where we're watching. This is probably the strongest part of the thunderstorm. Lots of heavy rain, now even crossing into Arkansas. Here's the state line. So we're still a ways out before we have that rotation and some of the stronger winds and also the hail that's been moving near Greasy. This is moving south and east at the moment. Very soon it's probably going to be crossing into extreme northern portions of Sequoia County. So talking about Stony Point, Brushy, and Atkins too. We'll be watching them close for you guys. But still a strong severe thunderstorm moving in from eastern Oklahoma into western Arkansas. I'll go ahead and back up the maps, kind of reset what's going on here. What we have is a cold front towards our west. Michelle's been watching it all afternoon. This front has much cooler, drier air behind it. If you notice, today it felt just a touch more humid. We've had some strong gusty winds out of the south. You guys might have noticed that the past couple of days. Temperatures are back into the 70s. We even had some 80s this afternoon. And now we have a cold front that's trying to lift all this humid air up and create some of these thunderstorms. But there's different parts of this line. We've been watching this front all the way into Missouri, stretch southbound into Oklahoma and western portions of Arkansas. But right now, the strongest thunderstorm that we have, the only severe thunderstorm at the moment, is in southern Adair County, northern Sequoia County. Look at northwest Arkansas. We don't have much going on. In fact, be able to zoom in for you guys and kind of show you. Right now, Bentonville, Rogers, we've got some good clouds. Sometimes the clouds kind of look scary at the moment, but we've got a good cell on the north side of town that's just hit Crystal Bridges. This is headed eastbound. It is going to get close to Prairie Creek, but this isn't too bad of a cell. We've got some heavy rain with it, and then you head southbound into Washington County. We've got some pockets of some heavier rain just west of Springdale. This is headed right into Taneytown. We have also some rain coming into Johnson and then the north portions of Fayetteville. I'll go down to the south just a little bit more. Looks like we got a new severe thunderstorm warning for southwest Missouri. Let me go ahead and reset the camera for a second.
So I was trying to get some questions that people were asking on the feed. They're asking about Siloam Springs. What you think about what's going to happen there with that storm?
Yeah, that's a great question. Let's go ahead and go towards Siloam Springs. Once again, you guys can interact with us on all our social platforms. Let us know if you have specific questions this evening. Right now, I went ahead and zoomed into the southwestern portions of Benton County and northwestern Washington County. Siloam Springs, I think we're good. Michelle, you were talking about it. As soon as that front pushes through and the storms push on through, you're done. We may be done in Siloam Springs now. We're watching some cells just east of town, Highway 412 into Taneytown and Springdale. Yeah, we got some downpours on the way, but this storm's really been struggling. That's some good news, but we're about to get some rain. Fayetteville, the rain will be coming in very shortly too. This cell looks like it's mainly staying north of Highway 62. We may be okay for the next little while in Prairie Grove and Lincoln, Farmington. We may get some rain in Farmington, but the heavier stuff's probably going to be kind of towards the Weddington exit, and then once you head north to the Garland Avenue exit, and then eventually towards Johnson, that's where we get the heavier rain. This will cross I-49 and eventually head into eastern Washington County. But the one severe thunderstorm that we still have at the moment is still right along the county line for Sequoia County and southern Adair County, as right over Greasy, right crossing 59 at the moment. And when you time this out, this is going to be moving in towards western Arkansas here in the next 20 to 30 minutes. But there's that rotation. That purple color isolates where we have any winds that are kind of spinning in that clockwise fashion, and we've got that right now just west of Greasy, crossing 59. This is northeast of Flute Springs, so right over the county line and headed eastbound. Here's another look at the rotation. Yeah.
I got a couple more questions for you. So people are asking about Van Buren and the River Valley right now.
Yeah, great question. Let's zoom out. This shows you the track. So Michelle and I have been watching these storms. They speed up and they slow down, but generally they're moving about 30 miles per hour. So then we just do a quick math calculation showing where this storm is headed. Let me go ahead and move this cone a little bit more now that the storm has moved just a little bit more. We're going to get some updated events for us too. Let me move the map. All right, Uniontown, 748. Let me repopulate this for a second. You can see that cone does include portions of Van Buren. There are some latest timings, Michelle.
Yeah, Van Buren, it says 8:06, so be there at 7:15 right now, 45 to 50 minutes or so. So the River Valley is not out of the clear yet, just like northwest Arkansas is. And so the River Valley, I think we'll see these storms in about an hour or two, and that's what this timing is saying. It's moving, what, you said 35 miles per hour right now?
That's right.
Yeah, so it's kind of going slow in general. Usually storms are 45 to 50 miles per hour, honestly. But the River Valley is definitely not out of the clear just yet. Just looking at a couple questions. But yeah, so River Valley, I would say the next hour or two, the storms will be in your area. That one storm, like Matt was saying, is the one we're watching. And the other ones are kind of just going back and forth, getting stronger, then they weaken. The Storm Prediction Center with this storm that Matt's talking about is actually keeps going back and forth, saying it's getting stronger and then it weakens, and then it's stronger and then it weakens. Right now, it's saying the updraft, which basically is the winds going up into the air, and if it turns, that's when you can get a tornado, is getting stronger right now. So definitely something to keep an eye on with this storm, but this is the only storm that we're watching, and this will be the updated times: Uniontown, 7:43, Cedarville, 7:52, Alma, 8:11. So again, an hour or so, give or take, in the River Valley.
And for the rest of the river valley too, we'll zoom out. We'll kind of do a reset. Northwest Arkansas, a few downpours, but a lot of them are now pushing eastbound. We got one on the north side of Rogers, headed towards Prairie Creek, a little bit of rain for us. Fayetteville, Johnson, rain coming in from the west right now towards Weddington. But then in the river valley, we've got 2 storms that we're watching. There's only one that's severe at the moment. One is closer to Lake Eufaula, but this one's had some problems strengthening over time. So that's some good news. But 2 cells. So individually, for this cell, the northern cell that is severe, has some rotation, not enough for a tornado warning just yet. We can measure the winds moving and circulating around that rotation itself. And once they hit a certain criteria, we're able to issue, yeah, there's probably a good chance for that tornado warning. Let's go ahead and issue that. But still a severe thunderstorm warning with some rotation. Right now we still have a hail pocket where the lightning coordinates. Once again, that's just near Greasy. This is right along the county line headed into Sequoia County. The southern cell has had some problems trying to strengthen over time, but a lot of heavy rain now. Lake Eufaula, this is going to be headed towards LaFleur County, eventually going in towards Bacoshi on the other side of Kavanaugh Hill. Let's go ahead and time this out too. It looks like they're trimming the severe thunderstorm warning from the west, so Cherokee County is still technically in that warning. But let's watch this cell towards the south. I'll go ahead and zoom in towards LaFleur County. You guys do not have a severe thunderstorm warning, but we are watching a cell.
Sorry, I think that was me
close for
taking
you
your
guys.
mat.
Oh, no worries.
Taking your mouse.
Okay, we'll go ahead and zoom in a little bit more.
So, quick question. A lot of people are asking if you think that tornado potential will continue into Van Buren.
Yeah, it's a great question. We have that rotation, and so we're going to have to see once it crosses the state line if that will continue to hold. Overall, there is a spin to the atmosphere in eastern Oklahoma and in western Arkansas as well. And so there will be a chance that we still see that rotating. And one thing to watch too is when we start seeing these storms bubble up and then run into each other, then things kind of get a little bit wonky. But right now, this thing has room to run. This thing is still moving south and east. I do think that rotation that you see right here on the southern end, just north of where it indicates Highway 59, this is moving east, and you have Van Buren just right on the other side of the Arkansas River. This thing may pass just towards our north of Van Buren. This may be more of an event for Cedarville and Uniontown, Natural Dam, and then eventually as you get towards Alma, we'll probably watch this. But from Fort Smith and from Van Buren, right now you're still looking live in Fort Smith. There on the top right, we're going to keep our eye cams on this storm as we're watching it cross the state line here very shortly. But I do think we're probably going to watch it from Fort Smith and Van Buren just towards our north. We got a good amount of lightning too. Once in a while you can see those lightning strikes as well. But for this storm that's near Stigler, when we time this out for us, as it heads kind of towards Poto and Cameron, we'll get the latest timings. Bacoshi 7:52, Poto 8:16, Hackett once you cross the state line just after 8:30. But this one is not severe, but we are watching some of that heavy rain, and every once in a while there could be some occasional lightning too as this storm heads just south. This is just south of getting close to the Kerr Dam. Probably used to be on the south side of it, but we're still watching this storm move in. Once again, not severe. One severe storm's back towards the north at the moment. But if you live in towards the east, towards Clarksville, Boonville, Paris, things are not happening at the moment. We still have thunderstorms towards the west. For the river valley, they have not crossed the state line yet. So for at least the next hour and a half or so, we're going to be okay. So there's still a lot of things that can happen between now and then with some of these storms. But right now, one severe thunderstorm warning that's moving into the foothills of the Boston Mountains. So this is for Crawford County. That'll be moving into western Arkansas here very shortly. The severe thunderstorm warning at the moment only includes Oklahoma counties. We're not under severe warnings at all anywhere in Arkansas, but we'll see if that changes. But we have that rotation that's just towards our west at the moment, Michelle.
So now people are talking about, what about Logan County, Waldron, Mulberry, just south of the river valley? Yeah,
great question. Let's go ahead and kind of do a wide view. Once again, they're moving about 30 miles per hour, so that gives us some time. They're taking their time. But when these showers and storms start to move through it, you can really hear those downpours. But let's look farther towards the south and east over time.
You can actually hear it right now going down in Johnson on our studio. The heavy downpours are moving through our area.
That's right. That's right.
Right now, actually, I don't hear any lightning, or not hearing, but hearing any thunder with these storms across Johnson. You actually see just behind Matt, the storms in northwest Arkansas, they're really weakening.
Yeah.
And that's the one storm that we're watching is moving through Adair County right now and then moving towards Sequoia.
Yeah, in fact, in northwest Arkansas, we got some showers earlier this afternoon. That really started to eat up some of the energy before these thunderstorms came on through. In the river valley, we've had a little bit more sun, and so that's one reason why these storms are a little bit healthier. not good for us, but healthier from the storm's perspective. They're still kind of robust, still got good updrafts. That means we have the hail potential. The hail potential is still in southern portions of Adair County, where the lightning coordinates too. But for the rest of the river valley, this just gives you some perspective. Since these things are only moving at 30 miles per hour, Fort Smith, as we get towards 7:44, I think the timing's off just a little bit. Let's see. 7:44. Yep, 7:44 for Fort Smith, about 7:45-ish. Just after 8 o'clock for Greenwood. And as we get close to 9 o'clock, that's when we get towards Boonville. And that's just saying the storm will continue to move and stay at the same capacity. But notice how there's a break between the two thunderstorms. So right now in Sallisaw, we're surrounded. You see storms to the north, you see storms towards the south, but we're good in Sallisaw, we're good in Vian and Webbers Falls. The storm near Stigler is going to head towards LaFleur County. And then the storm in northern Sequoia County. This is just barely may skim us in Roland and Muldrow. A lot of it's going to be in the northern sky. This is more a Crawford County event as some of that rain's crossing the state line at the moment. But we got some of those downpours in Washington County and a few downpours in Benton County, but especially east of Bentonville. We're really starting to clear things up. You guys in Salem Springs, I think you're good this evening. If you're in Bentonville, Centerton, you're good. Hiwassee, Gravette, Decatur, we're all good. That cold front is just behind where these fronts and these storms are. So that front continues to push on east. It gives us some cooler, drier air here on the back side of these thunderstorms, on the west side of these thunderstorms. And then we're done. There's just one small corridor where we have this instability that's ready to go as these fronts continue to push on through and these storms.
So I actually have a really good question for you, Matt. Somebody asked if the strengthening and the weakening of the Adair County cell is related to the mountains and the valleys across that storm.
Yeah, that's a great question. So right now, it's in some of the lower terrain. In fact, I think it's beautiful. You go on 59, especially when you look west, sometimes, especially once maybe you get closer to Westville, you have the terrain and then you dip down and you see Oklahoma. And it's a beautiful shot when you're just looking right there. But this storm could be impacted a little bit by the mountains, but I honestly think this rotation will be able to march east. Storms really, they're just going to keep moving where they want to move when it comes to these mountains. But I do think the heart of the storm will be right in the foothills of the Boston Mountains. So probably the highest elevation is kind of where I'm putting my hand, just west of Chester. I think the storm itself with the rotation is going to pass southbound. So right in the foothills, just when you start to get a little bit more hilly just north of Van Buren, that's where this rotation is going to head south and east over time. But once again, this is going to be able to continue to march right into Uniontown, Cedarville, Natural Dam. We have Van Buren towards the south. We may be good. We're still watching this storm. Sometimes they can take a hard right turn, and so we'll have to watch that closely. But right now, this is going to be more for central and northern portions of Crawford County. But Fort Smith, we'll have to see. I mean, you see that storm that's on the other side of Kerr Dam. That's going to head south and east over time. We'll have to watch. But right now, we're kind of in this pocket of some clear skies when you look back towards the west. Also noticing a couple more flare-ups just on the southwestern side of these storms. These storms want to keep going, but we're heading to just past sunset a little bit now by about an hour. So of course, skies are getting pretty dark. You're looking live in Fort Smith there in the top right-hand side of your screen. It's getting pretty dark, but once in a while you'll see some of those lightning strikes off in the distance. What do you see, Michelle?
Yeah, so I was actually looking at the just big picture of the radar, and it looks like those little spark ups that you just talked about were from the cold front. I think that's actually that cold front pushing through, and that's sparking off those showers just under that system. A lot of people are also asking, let me go back to the questions real quick. So a lot of people don't know exactly what that blue means on the timing graphic. Can you just
Yeah,
give
that's
them
a great question. Let's go ahead and zoom back out. We'll go ahead and show all of northwest Arkansas and the River Valley. So what we're doing here is we're watching, we first get the speed of the storms, which are moving about 30 miles per hour towards the kind of just south of due east. And when we time these out, you see the radar in motion. I'll go ahead and draw these blue lines for us again. We're basically really just watching two cells at the moment. Mm-hmm. So when we're timing everything out, these blue bars basically show you different timestamps as you're headed south and east. So for example, Salisaw, within the next 30 minutes, that's where we have the threat for some of these storms, although specifically for Salisaw, we've got some clear skies towards the west. But that dark blue color basically shows you in the next 20 minutes or so. And then those blue colors kind of fade in their intensity or in their opacity. But that just shows you different timing. So, for example, Fort Smith, about 8:16, Clarksville, 9:15. So the lighter the blue color is, the longer you have to wait before storms are going to be arriving in your neighborhood. But for most of us in the River Valley, we've still got a ways to go. And a lot of us are going to hit this clear pocket. I mean, we're doing it right now in Buren and Webbers Falls and Salisaw. You can see some of the lightning off in the distance when you look north, not as much when you look south. We haven't noticed as much lightning with our storm near Stigler. The storm towards the north is a little bit healthier at the moment. We haven't really had much lightning and thunder in parts of northwest Arkansas. We've got some good downpours right now in Fayetteville. Right now, I can go ahead and zoom in a little bit closer for you guys too. Anything else in the chat right now, Michelle?
They're just saying that supercell that you're watching right now, that severe thunderstorm warned, is pretty much little less organized than it was 10, 15 minutes ago. So I think it's kind of weakening just a little bit, but they're still keeping that severe thunderstorm warning on that.
Yeah, that's great news that this thing is weakening a little bit. So it's getting a little bit messy as it moves kind of south and east into Sequoia County. It's kind of taking a little bit more of that right-hand turn. In northwest Arkansas, we don't have any severe thunderstorms at this moment. We do have the downpour coming into Fayetteville, Johnson too. It's right over downtown Fayetteville too, and south towards the university. And you head north to Highway 412. We got some good downpours as well. To be honest with these storms, they're struggling in northwest Arkansas. That's good news for us tonight. We got a little bit of rain, some downpours. Some of these downpours are pretty intense. But at this moment, we have one strong thunderstorm that we're keeping our eye on, that severe thunderstorm warning in northern Sequoia County, north of Salisaw. We're not worrying about it in Roland and Muldrow. It's just north of us. This is getting closer to, once you head towards Cherry Tree and Greasy, we've been getting these strong thunderstorms. We're just about to clear the Greasy area, but right along 59, we're having these storms. And then as you head southbound, we've got two storms basically in the River Valley, the severe one we were just talking about, and then towards Stigler and Kerr Dam, we've got another thunderstorm, but this one's been kind of struggling too. Over time, this is kind of interesting. You see these little pockets of green that kind of offshoot away over time. It's having kind of a problem with these storms of keeping everything together. You get these different updrafts and downdrafts in these storms, and they're not really coordinating with one another. Basically what we mean to say, they're not looking that healthy. I mean, this one's struggling a little bit, but still some good rain coming in. Western LaFleur County will eventually get some of that rain. Every once in a while we get a passing shower on the eastern side, Spiro, as you head towards Panama, Shady Point. But the severe thunderstorm warning remains towards our north. Fort Smith, we're not included in that severe thunderstorm warning, and Van Buren too. We're going to continue just on this thunderstorm to see if they go ahead and reissue that severe thunderstorm warning into Arkansas. But like Michelle was just mentioning, it struggled at times, and it kind of it strengthens and weakens too. But overall, these storms are having a hard time this evening. Still a lot of rain and good downpour for us too. But you're looking live, top right-hand side of your screen. That's showing you live from Fort Smith. Now it's just pretty dark at the moment.
So is there a different Fort Smith camera we could go to? Because a lot of people are reporting lightning. You can see a little bit in the camera.
Yeah, now you're looking live from our Mercy iCam there when you're looking down Rogers Avenue.
There's a ton of people right now, reporting a lot of lightning in Van Buren, Fort Smith right now.
Right, yeah, we can look at some of that lightning too. Let's go ahead and zoom in on this cell. The biggest threat with this cell is it has a little bit of rotation, but then it also has some hail with it too, and it has had a history of some hail, especially in parts of Cherokee County. We had one blimp, that dark blue color shows you we had a little pocket of hail fall right in the Greasy area. But this storm has a history of some hail. The blue shows you hail sizes that are over an inch. So we're talking closer to golf ball sized hail. That's why we have the severe thunderstorm warning. That's the heart of this warning and why it was issued for the National Weather Service. There's what's called a tornado tag, which just means there is rotation on this storm. But once that rotation fixes itself up and starts spinning a little bit more, we'll get a tornado warning. Right now, it's just a severe thunderstorm warning, mainly for the hail. The gray color shows you kind of the small pellets of hail. Still something you don't want, but we're still watching this hail as it moves east. This is just north of Bellefonte, and this will be crossing the state line very shortly. Here's the Arkansas border right here, western Crawford County. So we're watching some of that hail that is skimming northern portions of Sequoia County. Roland and Muldrow, we're towards the south. We're not worrying about this pocket of hail. This is going to be more north. And where you have the hail is generally when you have the lightning too. And so the more lightning you start seeing, the more hail threats start to go up. But we've been watching this hail cross from Adair County and into northern portions of Sequoyah County. If we zoom out just a little bit more, you can kind of see the general track towards Fort Smith. I think this hail is going to stay north of us. Van Buren, kind of right where the I-40 indicator is. I think we're also going to be just south of this hail corridor. But this hail corridor is coming right towards Uniontown and Cedarville. Natural Dam, if you guys live in that area, you might want to look out to see if you can pull anything inside real quick before we get some of the gusty winds and some of those hail threats. But we got some small hail reporting in extreme northeastern Sequoyah County. We can look at the cell towards our south too, near Stigler. We have not seen really hail with this storm. We've just gotten some good downpours with this one. Once again, you're looking from the Wildlife Refuge, Sequoyah Wildlife Refuge, where they got the blue with the lake and Kerr Dam. But the storm itself is on the south end of the dam, and so we're not getting that hail threat at the moment.
So just in from the National Weather Service, where they're saying that that severe thunderstorm warning cell is basically weakening enough that they don't think they're going to extend that warning into Arkansas.
That's good news.
But you can actually see that bow echo right there. That means that the winds right there on that green-red connecting curve is pretty strong.
Yeah, let me go ahead and let's highlight that too. Here's what Michelle's talking about.
Yeah.
These green colors show you air that's moving at a pretty good clip towards the southeast at this moment. So right along this corridor is where we have some of the, let me get the pointer out. There you go. That's where we have some of these strong winds, but it looks like the rotation itself is kind of weakened. Now you've just got a good gust of wind headed south and east, so that's great news for us. I'll go ahead and draw this off the map. But if you guys are worried about the gusty winds, let's track this out for you guys. Headed south and east. Here's the latest on that timing. Bellefonte 7:38, Uniontown just before 7:50. Cedarville will be right around 8 o'clock or so when we get some of these gusty winds at this moment. But right now, some of the estimates on these winds themselves, I'm getting, Michelle, I'm getting wind speeds around 30, 35. That's not quite up to severe status. So that's good news. 58 mile per hour winds, that's what you technically need to get a severe thunderstorm warning for the wind perspective. Right now we're getting gusty winds up to 30, so it's going to be breezy here coming into Crawford County. But if we don't see these winds pick up, we're going to go ahead and probably just take the severe thunderstorm warning off, if that's what it sounds like from the National Weather Service perspective, Michelle.
Yeah, it does. And also, just looking at the radar a little bit, you can just, like Matt was saying, that's literally the only storm that we're watching. A lot of storms have weakened pretty much to the point where they're just some heavy downpours, like right now what you're seeing in Fayetteville and parts of Benton County as well. But a lot of people with that storm too, Matt, are asking if that storm will hit Van Buren, because they're saying a lot of people are actually leaving to go to the shelter already in Van Buren with that storm. Yeah,
great question. If you guys are streaming us live from your safe place, first off, awesome. Thank you for making sure that you're in your safe place just in case with these events. But right now, specifically for Van Buren, we are not under severe thunderstorm warning. Neither are we under a tornado warning. It looks like this storm just towards our north. Michelle was just talking about the weakening of the rotation. You had that rotation pretty bright on the radar. Decently organized, not enough to be a tornado warning, but we had that rotation near Greasy. But over time, that spin has kind of washed itself out. Now you just have this general push of green. That now shows you not so much rotation, but it just shows you a good gust of wind that's headed right over the county line. And eventually, we're not very far from the state line. Let's go ahead and just kind of measure this out just for fun. We were about 2-3 miles away from the state line where we have these gusty winds, 4 miles per hour or so. This is moving through Bellefonte. The winds have just picked up for you guys. I think for Van Buren, right here we have Van Buren. I'm going to keep my hand there. These gusty winds are going to be moving just north of town. Yes, we could get some gusty winds at Van Buren, but I do think that tornado threat is super low for you guys. Generally, when you get a good gust of wind, we could get a spinning motion on generally the northern side of a good push of wind. So that would generally mean towards the north, but it looks like when you're looking at the radar, Michelle, it's looking really messy here on the northern end.
Yeah, it really looks like it's starting to weaken a lot.
Yeah, this is good news.
As it pushes through the state border. So there's a couple people hopping on right now. So they're asking about Northwest Arkansas. How is it looking for us?
Yeah, great question. Let's go ahead and zoom back out. We'll do a reset. Looks like we've got from the National Weather Service. They're just kind of, I guess, reissuing that warning just over the same location. It started blinking for a second. As we just reset across all of northwest Arkansas and the River Valley, here's what's going on. That cold front just towards our west. In fact, we could probably draw that front for you real quick. That front now has just pushed into parts of northwest Arkansas, but it's still got a ways to go before it actually clears us in the River Valley. You live west of the front, everything's fine now. So for example, Siloam Springs, we're good for tonight. You can head to bed knowing that the weather's not going to be crazy. You head into Centerton, even Bentonville now. Rogers, you head west in Decatur, Hiwassee, Gravette, we're good for tonight. That's good news. Fayetteville, we've got some heavy rain over us right now, but this cell has not blown up. In fact, it's just a good downpour. Now, it's raining a good amount in Johnson and Fayetteville, Sonora. We've had some rain over Lake Weddington, but it's just been a good downpour. That's headed east. We're probably going to be clear in a second. Trevor, where are we looking right now with the iCam?
It's in Johnson.
Johnson. Okay, you're looking live from Johnson, and you're looking directly west towards the interstate. So we've got a lot of the rain on the lens there, and but just a lot of heavy rain. The gusty wind hasn't really been a threat for us. Then you head into southern portions of Washington County. So from about Greenland into West Fork and Winslow, we're in the break. I mean, we're watching these line of storms. They're individual storms, but if you get lucky and you're in between the two storms, you're fine. I think we're going to be okay for us, and most likely for us in central and southern portions of Washington County. You head a little bit south into Crawford County, we've got some very heavy rain. Cedarville, Uniontown, Natural Dam area, very heavy rain coming in for us. We're probably going to get some of that rain in Van Buren here very shortly too, especially on the north side of town, and you head north towards the foothills of the Boston Mountains. But it looks like this rotation has weakened, like Michelle is talking about. The gust of wind is still out there, but it's blowing closer to 35 miles per hour or so. So that's under severe limits. The 35 mile per hour winds are pretty gusty, but we're not going to be probably hitting that severe status, at least at the moment. In fact, the National Weather Service has so far decided not to extend a warning into Crawford County. So that's a good sign for us too. But we still have the severe thunderstorm warning for northern portions of Sequoia County, where we have the gusty winds and we have a little bit of that hail threat. Also, that rotation has weakened, so that's good. But then Fort Smith, we're kind of in that pocket too. We could get maybe clipped by this cell that's near Stigler, but this is now moving into northwestern portions of LaFleur County. You head eastbound though, Clarksville, Paris, Boonville, Ozark, Mulberry, Oark, Batson. We're fine for at least another hour or so. These storms are taking their time as they press eastbound. But so far, it looks like the one storm that's kind of the one to watch is this one in northern Sequoia County. And so if we extend this storm towards the south and east over time, it looks like it could be eventually headed towards Paris and Clarksville, but we'll have to see. It may not have rotation. It may just be a good downpour for us eventually. So we'll watch the storm closely for you guys this evening. But this one, everywhere you see that red color, we do have the threat for this next storm, whether it be just heavy rain and lightning for us, or maybe it has some gusty winds at times, and maybe some pockets of small hail. But right now, the hail sizes have really reduced. We got a good hail pocket in southern Adair County, but hail threats have really reduced with this storm. That could change over time, but right now, this thing's kind of weakened quite a bit. But Alma, just after 8 o'clock, Ozark, closer to 8:47, and then after 9 o'clock, that's when we're talking about Paris and Clarksville. Eventually, Russellville, maybe after 10 o'clock or so. But we're still watching these storms as they press east. For the storm that's coming into LaFleur County, let's time those out too. Since this one is kind of a little bit longer, we're going to use our blue tracker. We have two separate trackers for you guys. So if you live anywhere where there is a color now on the map, you're probably going to get some rain here, at least in the next hour or two. But for a lot of us, you know, maybe even Fort Smith and Barling and Fort Chaffee, we may squeeze by dry with these two storms if we can stay in between them. But this storm that's headed into LaFleur County, Poteau about 8:47, Heebner just after 9 o'clock, and eventually it'll cross over the state line towards Hackett and Waldron, but that'll be in the 9 o'clock hour. In fact, Waldron will be just barely before 10 o'clock. So these storms continue to press towards Arkansas at the moment, but we'll zoom in a little bit closer to the storm, closer to Van Buren. Michelle, do you see anything on National Weather Service?
So I don't, and actually I think that means because it's weakening a lot, and if the storm or the National Weather Service is quiet in the chat, I think that pretty means, you know, it's just heavy downpours, general thunderstorms, lightning, and thunder. There's a couple people asking already, you know, how come we were in a enhanced risk and now we're kind of just getting general thunderstorms?
Yeah, that's a great question. There are several different factors. One thing that we've noticed is it really depends on your winds that are close to the ground and winds that are higher up in the atmosphere. our winds that are higher up in the atmosphere have generally been kind of weak, a little bit weaker than we originally thought, to be honest. And you need fast wind speeds on the top of the thunderstorms. Basically, fast winds just keep thunderstorms healthy. It helps them to vent. There's a lot of heat, and they need to vent off that heat and get new heat. So it's just kind of this cycle, this engine. But it looks like the upper level winds have slowed down a little bit. And so in our favor, that's a good thing. But overall, those winds have slowed down higher up in the atmosphere. But we're talking 30, 40,000 feet. I mean, we're talking we're close to where planes fly in their cruising altitude. But the winds have been a little bit slower. And so that's really preventing these storms. They're kind of getting choked up on themselves a little bit, you could say, because they're not able to vent that heat very well. So that heat goes up, and then it just kind of falls back down and just kind of messes with the storm environment. But we've had one good cell. Of course, we're not so far not extending the severe thunderstorm warning, but we've had some hail pockets. The hail pockets were stronger in eastern Oklahoma, but we're still getting that gray color. That shows you small hail, maybe pea-sized hail. That's technically not big enough to issue a warning, but you could get some pea-sized hail that'll be coming into Crawford County here shortly. Once again, that's Uniontown, Cedarville, and Natural Dam, Dean Springs. We may even get clipped by us in Alma. But Fort Smith, Van Buren, this so far is staying towards our north. Notice in Sallisaw, we haven't gotten the hail. You see the storm off towards the north with some of that lightning too. We may be able to pull up some of that lightning, Michelle.
So actually, while you were just talking about that, they did drop that severe thunderstorm warning. So it's no longer considered severe, but it could still have winds, like Matt was saying, under 58 miles per hour as it moves through. Pea-sized hail is not considered severe, so it could still see a little bit of pea-sized hail in that storm. But they did drop that severe thunderstorm warning.
For sure. So your 5 News weather team, we're here for you guys this evening. We're going to continue to watch these storms as they press from west to east. At the moment, like Michelle just said, breaking news, the severe thunderstorm warning has now been expired from the National Weather Service. Still getting some good rain and some lightning in parts of Crawford County, but that rotation has weakened, and any of the gusty winds are closer to 30 miles per hour. Of course, you can keep up to date with our 5 News app. We'll continue to post updates there. We'll also be able to show the interactive radar. You can get right in there and dive in and look where the thunderstorm is as it's pressing towards the east. But right now, these storms are struggling. Let's just be honest. They're a lot weaker, and they press east into Arkansas at the moment. They're pressing east at the moment. And right now, once again, no severe thunderstorm warnings are active. We've got a good downpour coming into LaFleur County, so just heads up if you're in Shady Point and Spiro, Bekoshi, Podo, anywhere around Kavanaugh Hill. Be on the lookout for some heavy rain coming in, but the hail has not been with that storm. That'll continue to pass south and east over time, but Podo, be on the lookout within the next hour for some heavy rain. And then, of course, we had that storm, like you were just mentioning, Michelle, in northern Sequoia County, crossing the state line right into Crawford County, but that one has weakened quite a bit. But some rain is heading just north of Fort Smith. Fort Smith, we may stay dry, especially on the south side of Fort Smith. Once you head to Vienna Hills, we're probably going to be on the drier side. Jennyland Road, a little bit drier too, but the storm is just towards our north, Van Buren northbound, heading into the heart of Crawford County. But we'll go ahead and break in throughout the rest of this evening. Michelle's been watching the radar all day long. I've been watching the iCams a little bit. You can sometimes see some of the lightning that's off in the distance, but we'll keep you guys up to date. But the severe threats are gone at the moment. That can change. But your 5 News team is here with you for the rest of the evening. Thanks for keeping it here. Make sure you keep it local, and we'll keep you advised.